Okay, that song you guys just heard was Woman by Little Sims, and welcome to the seventh episode of the Mud Club. Today I have my guest, student slash model, Nadia Milan, and we're going to have a discussion about her paper about black women in the media and kind of talk about our experiences being black in the Valley. Hey, Nadia.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. So, I like to start off my guests with a sign check. What's your sign?
So I am a Leo sun, I'm a Leo moon, and I'm gonna be an Aries rising, so all fire.
Exactly,
Yo, what about you?
exactly. I am a Pisces, Leo moon, come
Okay, come
on,
on.
and then a Taurus rising.
Okay,
Okay, I love your outfit today. Like, do you want to do a fit check?
Okay, right, okay. So today I have a black button-down shirt. It's gonna have feather detailing, and I have a plaid skirt. I was trying to go for like a clueless type of vibe.
And you ate that.
Thank
It's
you.
exactly clueless.
Thank you. But yeah, so what you got on? What you got on?
Okay, I have a shirt, an Essence Fest shirt. It's like a black magazine, and they threw a festival back in like the early 2000s, maybe.
Right.
I got it from Bulta Boy on Instagram, and then I'm wearing a green cargo skirt from Depop and some cowboy boots.
Exactly. It's a Texas sleigh.
Yeah, a Texas slay. We're Texas. We're Texas girls.
We sure are.
So, yeah, we both chose this song, "Woman." So I think that kind of leads us into the discussion of your paper. Do you want to give us a little intro on that?
Yeah, so I really like the part of the song where she says, I love how you go from 0 to 100, right? And that kind of goes into the intro of my essay because I talk about how black women's actions are taken like widely out of cultural context. Because black culture is like inherently matriarchal, and that allows for black women to be like a lot more forward in their like way of thinking and their way of acting with other people. And people in this country, non-black people in this country, don't
Yeah.
really understand that.
Yeah.
Like they have no scope of that, so that's why they find black women so like threatening. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, cause they really will go 0 to 100, and it's not aggression or it's not combativeness. None of that. It's more like it's just the way we were brought up.
Yeah, literally, it's like natural.
Yeah, it's like natural because that's how your mom acts, and that's how her mom acted, and that's how her mom acted. So it's like that's what you learn, but people don't get that, and so that leads to this like image of black women, right? Because my entire essay covers like how like in your favorite TV show there'll be like one black girl, right? And she won't have like
The
a
archetype.
storyline.
Yeah.
The archetype. She won't have a storyline or anything like that. She'll just be like the token black woman.
Or the girl that you always go to for like emotional health
Advice.
or like.
Yeah. And like she won't have like a full range of emotions. She's just kind of like cool, funny, and will fight people.
Yeah.
And that
That's
comes
really not
from,
how we are in real life.
not at all. It's like not accurate in the slightest, right? And like it's just really difficult when you watch these shows and these movies and you don't get to see yourself represented with the full range of emotions rather than just a girl who's funny or just a girl who's sassy or like you know what I mean? And it comes from that. It comes from people seeing the way that we're so forward and I would almost like opinionated, not really, just somebody's like ready to speak their mind because
Yeah.
that's how you were brought up. And so it like puts us in this box of like just like a forward, sassy, like attitude problem type of woman. You know what I mean?
I've gotten that so many times, and I'm like, I'm literally just talking to you. Like, this is just who I am. Yeah. And I feel like those stereotypes that we see on TV, like, perpetuate like a narrative that's like negative.
That's the problem
And
that
it's
I
like
cover. Yeah.
when people who haven't really been around black people a lot, it's like, it's weird when they come to you and it's like they want you to be this thing that they see on TV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not who I am. Like, that's not like being black isn't a monolith. Like,
At
it's
all.
like everyone's experience is different. Like, my experience is different from your experience. Your experience is different from my experience. So it's like to assume that we're all the same is like,
You know.
yeah.
And so, okay, so that's the point. That's the argument of my essay, right? That there's these tropes, and it's like she's sassy, she's the comic relief, she has an attitude problem. The black woman, the one black woman in the show that they throw in there to make the cast look a little bit more diverse. You know what I mean? So people see that black girl in their favorite show, and they expect you to be like that. And then what they don't realize is how that is so damaging for me and for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it feels like you have to carry that with you, like no matter where you go. And especially because the representation is so like it's inherently negative. Like the black girl is always usually like problematic or like ghetto or like vulgar.
Okay, I hate when like people use ghetto like
It's like
that's like yeah.
it's like so unnecessary. Like I don't know if people realize that that word has like a negative connotation. Like something is ghetto.
Yeah.
Like and my mom, when I was growing up, my mom taught me to say like if I were to say that something was ghetto, she'd be like, no, it's not ghetto, it's creative. And I was like,
exactly. Shout out to Nadia's mom.
Shout out mom, yeah.
She's so right. Yeah.
Because like most of the things that
we're
we were taught,
trendsetters.
yes, most of the things that, and it'll be in your own brain. Like I'm a black woman, but still, when I was little, I would see people with like colored hair, like doing this or doing that, or like different ways of like dressing, and I would be like, that's ghetto. Like, you know what I mean? Because I was young, and my mom would be like, no, that's creative.
Yeah.
Because like they taught us to think that our own culture is ghetto when it's on
and then
us.
those same things they call ghetto in like 10 years, all these like non-black people are wearing it. And
it's a
like,
trend.
Now, where did you get that from?
Exactly, where'd you get? I thought that was ghetto. Like, why are you selling it on Depop for $45 now?
Yeah, like FUBU. Have you searched the price for FUBU on Depop? It's like $50. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, like no, I'll literally look it up right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like when it's on me, then it's ghetto. It's loud. It's not cute. It's not professional.
Yeah, professional.
That's another thing. Black women in a professional setting, it's such a hard thing to do. Like, it's so, like
it's, like, only certain hairstyles, and most of the time it's, like, straight hairstyles. If you come in with any other hairstyle, it's, like...
Like, I was so afraid to wear my curls to work because I thought they were going to send me home because it's, like, untamed. Because that happened to me at school.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Do you want to say where you went to school? Shout it out. Let's talk about it.
I don't know if I want to put them on blast like that. They're going to come for me, bro. No.
Okay.
No. But, no.
But we'll say that you had to wear a uniform.
I had to wear a uniform. I had to wear khakis. Anyways. So, no. I got called out at school for... Okay. I got called out at school when I was, like, in 7th grade because I had braids with, like, blonde streaks in them.
So cute.
And it wasn't like a regular, like not like a natural blonde whatsoever. It was more like it was closer to a platinum. But the handbook says you can't have any color that's not a natural color.
Blonde is a natural
color.
Blonde
is a natural color.
Blonde is a natural color.
People have blonde hair. So I'm like, what's the problem? And they were like, nah, like, you gotta take those out. You gotta take those out. And I'm like, what's wrong? Like, they're not fuchsia, they're not like magenta, so why are we having this conversation right now? And yeah, they came for me, and I never took them out. I went to school like that for multiple weeks until I decided to go.
That is a natural hairstyle. Like, it's a natural protective hairstyle.
It is, and their problem was just like the color, but they were also like really long braids with, I had like the gold clips in them, and
so cute.
They were like attention grabbing, obviously, because that's another thing, is that a lot of people feel like our hair is like distractful. Like, if you have an afro, if you have a colored hair, if you have long braids, it's like, ooh, like, let me touch, like, it's like...
Oh, I hate... Okay, the conversation on hair touching, it's like, yeah, you should ask before you touch, like, a black person's hair, but, like, in the first place, for me, it's like, why are you even asking to touch, like, someone's hair, like, a black person's hair? Like, you wouldn't go up to, like, someone who's not black to say, oh, hey, can I touch your hair? Like, I don't know, I just feel like it's a really personal thing. Like, that's someone's, like, body. Like,
yeah.
That's also, like, an issue of, like, personal space. It's, like, that's something that's off limits, like, right?
Yeah, and I guess they just see something that they haven't seen before, and they're like, oh, like, let me touch it. But it's, like, I feel like they fail to realize that, like, I'm also a person with, like, boundaries and... You know what I mean? So you can't just come up to me and be like, oh, let me touch your hair.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about, how I feel like people feel like they have access to our bodies. Like, oh my God, let me go grab and touch your hair, like, whatever. Like, it's happened to me multiple times where, like, people will, like, just, like, go up to me and, like, touch my hair, like, and no introduction, nothing. No, can I please touch your hair? Or it's, like, just like, just touch it. And I'm like...
You like, what happened to boundary, or why does the boundary rule go away when it's a black girl?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why do you think you have access to me like that? I think that's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
A little strange.
Strange to me.
Strange to me. But yeah, no. What were we saying? We brought that up for a reason.
Like professionalism.
Professionalism, yeah. I just always was really scared to wear my curls to work. I was like, no, they're gonna send me home. Like, I didn't, because they're real, like, you know, like it's more of like an afro than like a slick back type
Yeah.
of curl. So
And
I was
it's
just
like,
like afraid.
if you do have a fro, it's like, oh, can it be slicked back or like
Right, or can you put it in a
whatever.
ponytail? Like,
Yeah.
that's quite literally not how it works.
Yeah, honestly, I've even gotten it from my dad. He's like, oh, like, or when me and my brother have like our froze out, it's like, oh, that's not professional. Or, like, you need to do something with your hair. And I'm like, my hair in its natural state isn't like good enough or like what.
Yeah.
And I feel like that caused a lot of problems for me. Like growing up, like I wasn't really like proud of my hair, but like once the natural hair movement came around, I was like, okay, my hair's cute. Like I'm really starting to like enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, did you ever have relaxers?
Dude, oh my, from the point that I grew hair like past 2 inches, my mom was like, it's time to get relaxed because
Dang.
I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
Bless my mom's heart, love her to death. And I liked having my hair relaxed. I thought it was pretty. But like, once I got
It's
older.
the maintenance.
It's a maintenance thing, right? Once I got older and like, it was, dude, I had like a slick back bun. Granted, I was in ballet, so I would have to wear buns like because I would have practice after school like every day, right? But I would literally keep my hair in a bun like all the time. Like I did not let it down like ever until like maybe like 10th grade. Because I was just like, what am I supposed to do with it? Like, what am I supposed to do with it? You
And
know
especially here in the valley, like there was never really any products. Like I remember being so shocked when I saw like black hair products in Target. Like
yeah.
I would always have like my aunts from Houston would always send me stuff
send you
like
something.
yeah.
Or like you have
So
to
it's,
make
like,
stuff too.
Yeah. So I guess it also goes into like the small black population in the valley, you know, like
Yeah.
there's not really well more nowadays, but like back then in the early 2000s, like nowhere.
I'm just lucky that I had a mom who was like, "No, I'm gonna take care of your hair, bro."
Yeah.
And like,
I
didn't
mean,
let
your
me
mom
look-
is black, yeah.
Yeah, my mom is
Yeah.
black, so she never let me look foolish, but still like, it was really hard when I got to the point where I had to take it because like we had a routine when I was younger. It's like I would wake up in the morning, my mom would go do my hair, and then by the time I got like 14, it's like, all right, like I have to do this myself. But I just didn't know what to do. Like at that point,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with it. But no, it's like just. It's real hard, and it's what I want to get into is why and it's still something that affects me. Still something that affects me is really difficult. It's like, why can't I just go with my hair just down and be like, this looks fine? Like, why do
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not ready or like I'm undone? Like if my hair is just down, like it feels like it looks messy. It looks like it's not cute. Like, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's literally just my hair.
That's like how it comes out of your head. Like,
yeah, and I can't, like, I physically can't walk out the door with my hair just out because it feels like I'm not ready. And, like, I understand that that's a problem, and I know that there's
Yeah.
some type of damage from, like, what I've been taught my entire
I feel
life.
like it goes into like the media.
For
Like,
sure.
have you ever has someone ever called your hair nappy?
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all don't use that. Don't use that word. Don't use
That
that
word's not- that's
word.
not a-
Like,
Ghetto and nappy, neither of those are
Yeah.
good words to use to black people.
do not.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I've been told that my hair is nappy before, and I was like, okay.
People, I have faux locks in right now, and I remember one time a coworker was like, "Oh, like Chloe, like my hair is nappy. Like I was thinking about getting locks too, or like they said dreads, but I was like, I don't really like the word dread. We'll talk on that. We'll talk about that
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
But like they're like, yeah, my hair is so nappy. Like I kind of want to get dreadlocks and stuff like that. And I was like, oh well, like maybe not. Like it might like ruin your hair texture because like protective styles like aren't meant for like straight hair
Yeah.
or like wavy hair. Like it's a style meant for like
3C and
3C
up.
like 4C hair types that are like thick and coarse, I would say,
Yeah.
to like protect the hairstyle so it's not out all the time because your hair gets damaged, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's hard to take care of.
Dude, have you ever had someone ask you like if you have braids, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
used to, after my bun era, I went into my braids era. And when I was in my braids era, people would be like, do you redo them every day, or do you just like wake up like that, or like, bro, like you see it that I have 250 braids in my head. You really think I wake up every day?
Yeah.
And like, I just wonder why people don't think about what comes out of their mouth.
Yeah. I feel like that leads into like our next song. It's Don't Touch My Hair by Solange. Hello. Can y'all hear us? Nadia, do you want to check your mic?
Hola.
Hey, okay, we're back.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was Don't Touch My Hair by Solange featuring Sampha. When this album came out, So many great, great, great songs. So I don't know if you heard us because we kind of had some technical difficulties, but we kind of want to talk about the where you're from question.
Yeah. So, okay, this question can really arise in like any situation, right? And it low key goes back to my paper, but
Yeah. Yeah, we can talk about how it relates to your paper.
so like I guess it's like I talked about how people will ask you like where you're from, right? And like
Always.
when you're African American, like you literally like
Are American.
yeah,
We
you're
know the
American.
history, slavery,
We
the
know the
transatlantic
history.
slave
Like we
trade.
got shipped here on some
Yeah,
boats, right? So
yeah.
they'll ask me like where are you from, right? And I'll be like I'm from Texas, and they're like
No, but like, where are you really from?
right, and I'm like
Do you want?
from tech. What do you want me
Yeah,
to say?
like,
Like,
give
what do
you
you
a
want me to
history
say?
lesson?
Do you want me to give you a history lesson? And so at this point, like I've been asked that question way too many times.
Same.
And so I'll literally just be like, I don't know, my ethnic background has been erased by slavery, like
Yeah.
every time, because
Especially,
it has.
yeah, especially like when a guy like tries to talk to you, it's like, and is like the where you're from question.
Man, it's
It's
so
like where you're from. You're like so exotic. Like I've never seen you
right,
before. Like
right. I've never seen you. And the other one that gets me, and it's like so weird. And every time every time somebody asks me this, I'll be like, what do you mean by that? Because they'll be like, oh, are you from Houston?
always Houston.
Why Houston? Like, why can't I just be from McAllen?
Yeah.
It's because I'm black, or
Literally.
like,
But it's like also I feel like that leads us to like another conversation that we want to talk about, like how the media portrays us to be like super hard all the time, very
Yeah.
much like
yeah,
tough all the time.
That's
and I feel like
another
that
thing.
translates to like intimate situations, like, you know?
right. So in my essay, I talked about how black women need to be given a larger margin of error, and also how we need to be treated with compassion, because I feel like as a black woman, like we probably are the least looked after, like out of everybody in the country, right? Like the least valued type of people.
Yeah.
And it's just weird because there's a stereotype called the strong black woman stereotype.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few stereotypes that's like true, because it is true.
Yeah. How often do you cry? Like, do you cry?
Bro, I do not cry.
Yeah, like,
I do not cry.
I think like I don't cry for my friends, like it's always by
Yeah, no.
myself. I think this past weekend I took a trip to Houston and I think I cried for like 2 seconds in front of Val, but then I was like, no.
Yeah, let me stop.
It's always like
it's like you feel shameful.
weak. Yeah,
like
you feel like you're weak, and it's like I
And
don't
it's
have
like-
to be strong all the time, you know.
Dude, I was literally having a conversation with my dad about this yesterday. Like how I complain about how I don't see people that look like me with the full range of emotions in like media, but I don't even have a full range of emotions.
Yeah, that goes
Like,
back to our discussion when we first started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like okay, so the strong black woman stereotype is that when you are like when you're the face of like all the negativity in the country, right? Like you just learn to like start bodying it, and then like whenever you feel upset or when you feel sad, you just like push it down and like act like it didn't happen, because if you were to perceive everything bad all the time that you hear about yourself, about your community, about your people, then you would just be miserable. You know what I mean? And so because of that face that we put on, that we're so strong, men in particular always think that we're like
Tough.
and
Or,
like
like-
don't deserve compassion.
Yeah, or like in like intimate situations, it's like,
Right.
oh, you want things like rough or
Rough.
like hard or like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't even
Like,
know
when did
me.
I say
like,
that? Yeah.
like I never said that. What about me said that?
Yeah, like why do you feel like I can
Is it
just
because
take that?
yeah, is it because what you see in the media? It's like that also goes back to the beginning, like how we're portrayed in the media. Like,
Yeah. And it's not even just with men, it's also like with like teachers, dare I say.
yeah, teachers always
Or like people who are
in positions of power.
of authority over you, like feel like you can handle things that are like negative.
Oh, yeah.
Like a negative reinforcement. Like I was faced with a lot of negative reinforcement when I was in high school, because they felt like I could take that. Like other students would be rewarded for good work, and I would be, you know what I mean? They would be like,
Yeah.
"No, you could do better."
Yeah. And I also feel like, even in like elementary school, it was always like, oh, you can help carry the chairs. Like, I don't know, after you do like like also, okay, we'll get back to it after the song break, but it's also like the like being viewed as masculine.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah. So right now we have "Run the Road" by Santigold. Okay, we're back. So continuing the conversation, I feel like we're like, especially Black women are always viewed as being more masculine, even when it's like, even when there's like a super femme presenting woman, like it's always like, oh no, like they're masculine or no, you know what I mean?
And it goes back to what I said about like the matriarchy and like just being a forward person, because in America, forwardness and like just like I almost want to say like dominance is like taken as like a masculine trait.
Yeah.
So when you as a female are just like someone who's like real upfront, then they're like, oh, she's manly.
Yeah,
you know
and
what I mean?
we see that a lot with like Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
So it's like, even when what's his name? Who shot her? Tory Lanez.
Stop. We're not gonna give Tory Lanez free.
Yeah.
Okay.
Delete that. I didn't say that. But when she was like, when people in the media were portraying her, it was like, oh, she can handle it. Like, she's not hurt. She's not hurt. It's like,
dude, and then that's
she is a human. Like, she's a human. She feels things. Like,
and it's real damaging, especially for like, okay, like for me, right? Because I'm a 5'10" Black woman, right?
A model.
You know, and so like
Exactly.
I feel like obviously I don't look like Megan Thee Stallion, but I feel like connected to her because she's Black and she's 5'10" and she's very like, you know what I mean, and she's from Texas, so I'm like, yeah, that's my sister actually.
Yeah.
And then when people say stuff about her, and I think Megan Thee Stallion is gorgeous. Like I think Megan Thee Stallion, in my brain, she's the standard, right?
Literally.
So then people are like, oh, but she looks like a man. She acts like a man.
Where?
Matter of fact, she need to go ahead and put on the jersey and help LeBron. Like, then it's like, what do I look like? A Sasquatch? Like, you know what I mean? So, like, it's damaging for people who, like, idolize Black women. For other Black girls that idolize Black women, when you tear down somebody's idol, then it's like, what am I supposed to be?
Yeah.
Like, I must look like a man, you know what I mean? But, yeah, no, it's, like, really strange how they do that. The amount of people that have told me that I'm like manly, like.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Like they'll tell me, like if I post something where you can see my height, like 'cause I have long legs, it's always dudes telling me like, oh yeah, you.
And I bet it's always short men. I bet it's always short men saying that.
They're drafted right now. You gotta go help LeBron out. Like.
Tell me the height of one person that said that.
Dude.
Tell me the height of one person that's told you that.
I really don't want to put him on blast, but he 5'3".
Boo! See? And
I
also
love
it's
you
like
though, love you. He's like my best friend.
Oh, okay.
But he's 5'3".
Okay.
No, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, it's just strange, like how they view.
Do you ever feel like you
women
have
as
to be
inherently
like hyper
masculine.
feminine because of that stereotype?
Dude,
It's like
yeah,
so it's like you can never have like a day off. Like you always have to be like
made up.
Yeah.
Or like hair done, made up, like, or else I look manly.
Yeah, and I feel like that translates to your, like, you were telling me, like, being a model in the Valley, it's like, it's harder. Like, you have to try 10 times harder than, like, anyone else, you know?
Yeah, if I want to, like, actually get somewhere, I do have to try 10 times harder than anyone else. Because, like, who can I take as an example? Like, okay, I'm going to take, you know, Vinny Hacker?
Yeah.
Okay.
The white TikToker.
Stop it now. Because he's cute. Because he's cute, but listen, so I was thinking about it, and he, like, basically has made his career just being pretty on camera, right? And he's, like, really he's really famous. Like, he has millions of followers. He lives in a $5 million home, and all he is, like, pretty. And I would never be able to make it that far just being pretty. And I'm definitely equally as pretty as Vincent, as Vincenzo. So it's like, why am I not in the $5 million home? Because I'm not a white man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I could never make it that far. If you're going to be Black and famous, you got to be bringing something else to the table. You got to rap, you got to sing,
do flips.
You got to do flips, you got to juggle, like, you know what I mean?
I'm like, why can't you just be famous for being pretty like everyone else?
Right.
Like, it's like...
And there's no, like, current notable models that are Black that you could say, like, oh, she's famous for just being pretty.
Keyword
like,
current.
current. The last, like, real uber famous model that was Black is probably going to be Naomi. And, I mean, homegirl is, like, she getting up there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been a while. Like, you think supermodel, you think Bella, Gigi, like, Kendall.
I mean, just Google supermodel right now. Like, if you're listening, Google supermodel, who comes up? It's all white.
Kendall,
Yeah.
Gigi, Bella.
I'm like, would I call Kendall a model?
Stop.
Okay, yeah, but honestly, like trying 10 times harder for people who are doing like the most
minimum,
basic,
yeah.
the bare minimum.
The
It's
bare
like,
minimum. Like if I'm gonna be pretty and famous, I gotta like play the flute. I
yeah,
gotta sing. I gotta rap. I gotta run. I gotta do something. You know.
yeah. So I feel like that leads us kind of into our next song. There was this boy band back in the day, maybe like early 2000. I think this came out in like 2011, maybe.
Yeah, when we were little.
Yeah, Mindless Behavior. Shout out Mindless Behavior.
Shout out
Prodigy,
Princeton.
Rock,
Shout out
Ray,
Princeton.
Princeton.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were this, it's a group of black boys. They were like a band back in the day. They had had their little time during, when Justin Bieber was coming up. But yeah, we'll talk about that after the break. So here is Mrs. Right by Mindless Behavior. Okay, that was Mrs. Right by Mindless Behavior.
Banger.
Like, y'all heard the production on that? That was too good. Too good. And like back to our conversation, like they came out at the same time as Justin Bieber. Same time, but Justin Bieber was getting Kanye features.
No,
He was getting all of the stuff.
And there's like 5 of them. Justin Bieber is a
One
one-man band.
One person. And as we know, during his like boyfriend era, like whatever, he was doing like
Ludacris,
yes,
Drake, Kanye.
everyone. And I'm like, imagine if Mindless Behavior got that treatment, got like the features, got everything, got the publicity.
That'd be
like,
huge.
Literally, they would be huge. And I feel like that's just like another, that goes back to our conversation. Like I feel like that was way better than a Justin Bieber song. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, Justin Bieber. Yeah, I love Justin Bieber.
Like for the level of talent, because I think they were younger than him at that time.
Yeah,
too.
they had to be like what?
Like 10, 11,
yeah,
12.
Yeah.
And he was already like a teenager, I want to say,
Yeah.
around that time. And he was like, he was one dude. They were a band. And like the production, the sound.
No, y'all need to go watch that music video. Like dance routines, everything.
Dude, the whole 9. Like they had it going. And like they just were not that famous. Unless, for some reason, the only people who know about them are like other black people. Like other black girls. Like if I'm like, to one of my like white friends, I'm like, do you know who Mindless Behavior is? They'll be like,
Who's that?
Who's that? Yeah, like no. But I asked you, and you knew.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I'm like Princeton.
Exactly.
Princeton.
Right.
Rock. Come on. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. They had to see how hard they had to try. Like it's crazy.
And then for them to just kind of like fizz into like they had their moment because they had that one song that was in a movie.
What song?
I don't remember.
Was it My Girl?
No, I don't think it was My Girl. But do you remember that movie? I think it was called Rio.
Oh, what song?
They made this song specifically for the movie.
Oh, okay.
But it was a Mindless Behavior feature in a big movie, and I loved that movie when I was little.
And I'm like, that was their introduction to white audiences because, I mean, like, no, let's talk about it. Like, we already knew who they were. Like, that was probably years after they came out. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just working 10 times harder to only get half of what a white person gets or, like, a white artist gets.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah. That relates back to your paper, doesn't it?
About how we have to work 10 times harder?
Yeah.
It does. Let me think about the part that it comes out in. Okay, so like I talked about how like I could never just be pretty and like I have to do something else with it at the same time, right? Okay, so this reminds me of the margin of error thing, right? So like you have to work 10 times harder to get to the same space as like a white person, whether it be professional, romantic, whatever. But when you get there, if you mess up, the repercussions, dude, you're done. Like, you're done. You're done.
Okay, yeah. I want to talk about Azalea Banks. Shout out Azalea Banks.
Shout out Azalea Banks. I know she got a 5 on her AP English.
Talented artist. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like you have to understand the nuances of the black community to, like, understand her story. And it's like, I feel like only black people can talk about her. Like, it's just... Yeah. I mean, also, okay, I'm going to compare it to Kanye. Like, look at Kanye. Kanye said slavery was a choice, and people are still like, oh my God, Kanye's a genius. Like, he's the best we have. Like, he's a visionary, like, so talented. But then, like, Azalea messes up, like, a couple times, and it's like, oh no, we have to get her off. Like, no, she's so wrong. Right. I'm like,
and this is not to, like, discredit any of Kanye's work, because I love Kanye just as much as the next girl, like, You know what I mean? I'm gonna go home and play Yeezus right now. But the thing is that they are equally as problematic of individuals. But it's because she's a woman and he's a man. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
he has that like that audience. Those dudes behind him that are just like, yeah, Kanye's a genius, Kanye's, and like they're not gonna give the same grace to Azalea Banks because they don't value her like that.
Yeah.
And like she makes great music. She
She
can
has the
rap.
vocals.
She can
vocals,
rap and she has the vocals.
Sing, dance,
the
everything.
production, everything about Azalea Banks' music is so good, but she's just problematic, and she's not gonna be given the same grace as Kanye because she's a black woman. You know what I mean? Like nobody
Especially
really gets
dark skinned black women.
Yeah.
So it's like
She is
yeah.
insane though. I'm not gonna lie.
very, very talented.
Yeah, she is.
So, we're almost to the end of the show. Do you want to talk about like? I guess we can talk about some of our experiences in the valley, like specifically. Like, I wanted to talk about this one situation where I was at a concert. Where like someone that was performing said the N-word, right? And like me and my friends were like, wait, y'all said the N-word, and we like called it out like straight up, like y'all said the N-word. And then after the performance was over, like someone from that group that was performing like came up to me, not even the person that said the N-word, came up to me and was like, oh, sorry, like it just slipped out, like it's just a part of his vocabulary, like whatever. The catch is the person apologizing didn't even look at me. Not once, looked at the people, like the two, like, white Latinos next to me, in the group.
And apologize to
Yeah,
them.
and apologized to them, not even to me. And it's, like, the fact that you completely ignored, like, my presence, it's, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, like...
and when you're, like, the black presence in the room.
Yeah, it's, like... Yeah, it's just... I don't know, it's just a lot.
How do you feel about that, though? The entire N-word situation.
The N-word... Honestly, like, we talked about this last night. I was like, for me, it's like, you learn about it in school. You learn about it everywhere. Like, it's in the media. And it's like, how do you not know? Like, how can you say, like, oh, I'm still learning. Like, so that's my personal.
I agree, but the thing is that, like, a lot of people, and by no means is there any way to, like, do it right. You know what I mean? But people will just be like, don't say it. That's it. And that's valid. Don't say it. But I feel like for people, especially down here who have, like, no scope of the black community at all, like, just saying don't say it is not going to be enough for them to understand why they shouldn't or, like, how it's harmful. So for me, if a person says it around me or in front of me, I can explain to them why I think they shouldn't say it because
But
I'm
if they
going to
say it again,
assume... I'm
yeah.
gonna assume that they just literally don't know, and I'll explain that to them. But if it's again, then you're proving to me that you don't value me or my people, and that's when we're done.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even have to be static. Like, it doesn't have to be a situation. Like, that's it. Like, we're done.
Yeah, no explaining.
No explaining, and that's something that I recently came to realize because when you live in the valley, like, you also like black and in the valley, you still don't have any scope of the black community. You know what I mean? And I very much used to allow my friends to say it around me because I didn't realize how harmful that was. You know what I mean? But that's how I feel about it now. Because if I didn't even know how harmful it was, then how could people who aren't black know?
Yeah. That's something that I have to, like, take into consideration. I don't know. It's hard for me. Like, I'm still learning. Like,
but still, point blank period.
I'm still learning.
If you point blank
Yeah,
period,
it's
if
like,
you're non-black, don't say
yeah,
it. I don't want to hear it come from your mouth.
Yeah, I'm like, because if you say it around, like, the wrong person, it's like you will get
It
your
could
stuff
be
rocked.
static.
Like, it could be.
It could be shiesty.
Yeah, I feel like that leads us to another song. You know, where is it? Okay, right now we have Almeda by Solange featuring Playboy Cardi. Yeah. Okay, we're back, and sadly we're running out of time. That song you just heard was Almeda by Solange featuring Playboy Cardi. I really like that album that came from, what album was it? Something about home, on the way home or something.
On the way home, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Solange. She named a lot of songs from that album, like off of Streets in Houston. Like there's Bins, there's McGregor, there's Almeda.
I love Bins.
great album. Y'all should listen to it. So for the last few minutes,
talk about.
Shout out to my dad. He just texted me. Shout out to Leroy Campbell.
Shout
listening.
out to Mariano.
But yeah. I want to give a shout out to my dad. Came to the Valley in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah. People always assumed like he was a basketball player. Also,
Dude,
yeah,
dude,
Wait,
okay,
no,
wait,
wait.
wait,
One
wait,
more
hold
thing.
on,
One more
wait,
thing.
wait,
One
wait,
more
wait,
thing.
hold
One
on,
more thing.
hold
Please,
on.
wait. Okay. I want to talk about how like I went to a predominantly white like Christian school growing up. Like people are always like, Chloe, like I'm so scared of your dad. Like I'm so scared of your dad. And I never knew why. I was like, oh, is it because like he has a loud voice or whatever?
Yeah.
No, like thinking back now, I'm like, it's because my dad is black. Like
Yeah.
they were scared of my dad because
Wait,
he was black.
Wait, I have a similar story
yeah.
about my dad. Okay, so I live like in this. Okay, my dad lives in a predominantly white neighborhood, and it has like its own little park. And one time I was over there at the park, and this lady was like, "Do you live here?"
Oh my god.
And I was like, "Yeah." I was like 14, and she was like, "Oh." And she goes, "Is your husband a football player? Does he play
Okay,
for the
let's
Bucks?"
talk about also seeing like little black girls as grown women.
Why would she think that? First of all,
Yeah.
why would she think that? I was literally 14. I know I didn't look like I had a husband. And
Yeah.
why it's the only way that a black man could be successful enough to live in a
If
white
he's a
neighborhood
football
if he's
player.
a football player. What is that about,
Yeah,
bro?
that's like another conversation that we have to have. Like, there's so many things that we have to talk about, but it's like I don't know. We have to have maybe another episode,
Yeah,
just like
dude,
a
for
personal
sure.
like.
We gotta unpack this.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack about like the black experience in the valley. Like, so many things that we could talk about, but like, yeah. Do you want to shout out your social media like before we end the show?
Yeah. So my Twitter is Nadia Milan with 2 I's in the Milan. You can go follow me. I want to get to 100 followers.
And your Instagram?
And then my Instagram is the Nadia Milan, like the Megan Thee Stallion, the Nadia
Milan.
Yeah. Follow me.
Yeah, so we do have one more song. It's called Moneta Creek, and it's by Blood Orange. It's from the Negro Swan album. One thing about this album, if you're not black, don't say Negro. So, yeah, this is
No,
Moneta
for real,
Creek.
don't. Yeah.